Hello Guardians, ISO here. A few days ago, the Season of the Lost launched, and with it, many events were put in motion. A warrant for Osiris' arrest was put forth, and the old warlock was found in the Dreaming City, speaking with Mara Sav, the returned Queen of the Awoken. Osiris was finally revealed to have been Savathun, captured by her on the moon during the events of the Season of the Hunt almost a year ago. Now Savathun resides, captured in stone and chitin in the halls of the Dreaming City. And yet, a deal has been struck. Savathun will return Osiris to us when we assist her with exorcising her of her worm, a great feat of power and magic that only the Techians of the Dreaming City could accomplish. And at Mara's command, we set out on our work, rescuing her displaced and stranded people. But today, I'd like to look at some interesting information that came to light regarding the activities of Empress Caiatl, leader of the new Cabal Ascendancy. So as our first video for Season of the Lost, let's instead take a look at Caiatl's ambitions. Though she agreed to a peace accord with the citizens of humanity in the last city, the Cabal war machine never stops turning. Darkness looms at the edge of the system, and the Hive are making themselves known as an ever-growing threat. Caiatl knows this, and as our first reading today, she receives audience from an unlikely ally. Each passing moment is marked by the click of an analog timer on the wall. When the pressure gauge reaches 100%, the timer releases a final click, and the airlock doors grind open in the hangar bay. Lord Saladin tucks his helmet under his arm and marches inside. He's met by banners of blue and white ringing the walls, each bearing the crest of Caiatl's empire, the Cabal Ascendancy. A pair of blue-armored phalanxes greet Saladin at the entrance with raised rifles, but the Iron Lord strides past without a glance. The phalanxes slowly lower their rifles and turn toward a heavily armored Valis, approaching from the other side of the hangar.
You come alone?
Valis Orok bellows, reaching up to wrench his helmet off. A pressurized hiss escapes as the environmental seal breaks.
You are bold, Commander.
Lord,
Saladin corrects as he closes the distance between them.
my title is Iron Lord.
Valis Orok comes to a stop, looking down at Saladin with narrowed eyes.
Iron Lord Saladin.
He tests the unfamiliar words with gnashing teeth.
You are bold.
I'm not here for flattery or your formal processions,
Saladin rebukes, now within arm's reach of the Valis. Saladin looks up at him, unafraid, undeterred.
How do you want to do this?
The Valis locks eyes with Saladin, then snorts loudly and rumbles with appreciative laughter.
I have a war room,
He says in a more conversational tone. No more boasts, no more chest beating.
We are tracking the movements of Hive ships in the vicinity of the Mars anomaly.
There have been developments in the Dreaming City regarding Xivu Arath you should be made aware of,
Saladin replies.
Lead the way.
It's obvious that Saladin feels quite betrayed by Savathun, and we know that he's willing to go to any length to secure peace. So, informing the Cabal about the current situation definitely seems in his nature. But what exactly did he reveal? Empress Caiatl brooded over a holographic display of the Dreaming City. The map was marked with bombardment targets, landing zones, and forward operating bases, which had been decided by an emergency convention of her military advisors. Now all that remained was for the Empress to order the attack. Tauren entered quietly, carrying a datapad. She stamped her foot lightly to announce her presence. Caiatl did not look up.
As a princess,
The Empress said.
I heard many stories of the Awoken from my father's Mythkeeper. Stories of spaces beyond time, of the dragons that bend reality. Stories of a whole city built by wishes.
She slices the air with her tusks in annoyance.
It would be a waste to destroy it.
But perhaps a strategic necessity.
Torin bent both knees slightly and held up the datapad, indicating a discovery.
Lord Saladin approached us on behalf of the Vanguard. He confirms what we already suspected. Savathun, the Witch Queen, is in the Dreaming City.
A captive?
Caiatl looked up. Torin thought she detected a concealed note of hopefulness in the ruler's tone.
It's unclear.
Torin clicked her teeth in equivocation.
Informants on the ground report that she's confined, but the Scions insist she traveled there of her own free will to escape Xivu Arath.
A voluntary prisoner.
Caiatl glowered.
This smells of hive trickery.
It does, my Empress.
Torin lowered her brow in deference to her ruler's mood.
However, Mara Sav is powerful, and no stranger to subterfuge. It's fair to assume that she has a plan in place.
So does Savathun.
Caiatl clicked off the holographic display. Darkness rushed into the room. Torin could see the consequences of such a decision weighing heavily on her ruler's brow. Then, suddenly, the weight lifted. The Empress had decided.
Have Lord Saladin return to Zavala with a message.
Caiatl certainly is a ruler with a lot on her mind. I'm sure she must still feel some sort of confusion as an Empress. Though she's ruled the Cabal for a while now, striking a ceasefire with humanity certainly put her in a less than fortunate position with her war council. You know, since it's a war council. But next, we'll see exactly what sort of message Zavala has been given. Zavala swung off his sparrow in a rocky gulch near the EDZ. Across the wash, a Cabal legionary leaned next to a small shuttle. A Scion stood at attention nearby.
You, Zavala?
The legionary called. Zavala tried not to feel slighted.
I am Commander Zavala,
he answered. The legionary squinted and nodded slowly.
Had to make sure.
It said.
Security stuff. Let's do this quick.
The legionary pointed a fat finger at the Scion.
The Scion's gonna ask you a question. Then you tell me the answer. I go tell Empress Caiatl, and that's all.
What kind of question?
Zavala asked. The legionary shrugged.
Only the Scion and Empress Caiatl know. Safest that way.
Zavala warily approached the Scion. As it stared into him with its single eye, Zavala felt his ears ring. His hands went to his sidearm, but a vision sprang to his mind, vivid and fully formed. Zavala saw the dreaming city. He saw Cabal ships filling the sky, spewing oily smoke. Then, an explosion. A sea of explosions, violent red and black with the fury of planet killers. Unmakers. But concentrated, refined. Perfect for the size of the task at hand. He saw death for all in the dreaming city. Bodies face down in the crystal grit of the palace. Mara Sav, Petravenge, Corsairs, countless awoken. Collateral. For at the bottom of a crater was the shattered body of a crystal-bound hive god, destroyed at her most vulnerable moment, her trickery silenced forever. Then a war, yes, probably, but a small one. And behind it, blood on two pairs of hands. Two willing to pay the price for peace.
No.
Zavala broke the Scion's gaze, and the vision stopped abruptly. The legionary grunted.
That your official answer?
Zavala straightened.
My answer is no,
he said clearly. The legionary nodded.
Fair enough,
it said, and took a half step back from the Scion. The Scion punched a code into a small wrist-mounted screen. There was a brief chime, a muffled pop, and the Scion slumped to the ground, blood pouring from a wound on its head. Zavala reached for his weapon again, but the legionary laughed and held up a hand.
The volunteers knew that's part of the deal. Now nobody knows what the question was except for you and the Empress. Safest that way. Gotta go and tell her your answer.
The Cabal called as it climbed into the shuttle.
Hope you made the right choice.
The craft chugged into the sky, its jets splattering Zavala's boots with the Scion's blood. For peace, what price is too high? This question could be asked to anyone, and we would all give different answers. For Lord Saladin, peace should be attained at any cost, even at the cost of countless Awoken and their queen. Before we end this video, I'd like to touch on something different. Savathun mentioned some of her scheme, that she had found Osiris lightless and left for dead on the moon, that she wore his form and walked among us for a year. And she has been busy. Osiris was a mentor to Crow, a counsel for Zavala, a teacher to Ikora, a catalyst for Lakshmi, and a partner to Saint. Savathun has planted her roots, and now we know that Osiris was helpless in his own skin. He could only watch.
The slithering dark is cold against my face. I cannot speak, cannot breathe. I reach for Sagira, but I remember. I form a fist, feel nothing. I am bound. As I thrash, the images cut fissures through my mind. Someone, the Awoken Prince. He helps me to my feet, but still I struggle in the dark. And now, she's standing, thanking him. But she uses my voice. My voice. She's stolen my form, my voice, but someone will see my failure and cast her out. They must. A glimmer of sunlight. How long has it been? Zavala looks at me, at her, considering her words. Poison cloaked in wisdom. I cry out, he must know. Zavala, listen. Listen! You know me. You know not to. Smell of the night flowers. I'm walking. She is walking. Through a moonlit garden. And there is Ikora, speaking, laughing, nodding. Look, Ikora, look at me. Don't you see it? Pay attention. Pay attention. I taught you better than this. A woman, an exile, sits before me and sways, eyes vacant. But inside, she is sinking as well. Now her voice, her true voice, humming. A gyre of sound and the exo sways faster and faster. I hear his voice and push to the surface. Saint. No, no, no! I scream, but there is no sound. He looks into her eyes. He smiles. He reaches for me, but it's not me. Saint. That is not me. Please. Please. I'm weeping, but I cannot weep. I'm nothing. Only heat, hate. Only sickness and shame. Trust me, I hear my voice say, and I drown again.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. The best way to let me know you enjoy my content is to leave a like on the video or a comment down below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.